Rogue Logic. This is the way.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Rogue Logic. Just going to go with one topic today and get right to it. A short introduction here. I did not know who the well. Let me start by saying, if you have not seen it, I don't remember what day it was. I'm a couple days behind, but there was a man who came into a Lego store and absolutely had a homophobic mental breakdown and basically took it out on a couple of the associates who were working there. And basically the reason I'm not going to say much about the who it was, because that made a basically I thought this was just a random customer who someone who really wasn't known for anything, and it was very telling once I found out who it was. So what I'm going to first do is I'm going to play the footage, and then I will move on from who he is and why this happened. And I may interject a little bit with the footage here and there, but let's just get started. Here it is.
The Lego group supports what?
The Lego group pretty proudly supports the LGBTQ community. Do we want to?
Yeah. Yes. But the question is, why are you all in here with those pins on? Do you think children care about what man sucks at home and what girl eats vaginas at home?
Leave, man.
Do you think they care about that?
It's time to leave, man.
Do you think they care?
I don't think they think about that personally.
Right. So why would they think about it when they see your pin?
No, they don't. It's time to leave.
Yes, they do.
It's
disgusting.
That's
called grooming.
All right. Did y'all mind leaving?
Yeah. If you call security, tell security that you're in here wearing a pride flag on your shirt.
Come on, guys. It's time to leave.
You know what's amazing? Most children don't know. He's been educated by me. I think it's grooming. It's borderline pedophilia and child abuse for these weirdos to come in here and wear that, and at the same time, kids buy from the store. When does it stop? I'm sick and tired.
You don't have to shop.
Huh? Yeah, but I came here to buy something. When does it stop? At some point, we need to stop pushing this mess on children.
At this point, we're just going to have to ask you to leave.
I'll leave. Okay. And I won't spend any money at Lego.
Fantastic.
If you're in here right now, in here right now and you care about value, this store is intentionally promoting LGBTQ behavior on children.
Sir, you're
spend your money in a place that doesn't do that to kids.
Sir, you're about to get trespassed.
Thank you.
Rogue Logic. On the road.
And, when I first saw the footage of this man going absolutely berserk and eventually having to have the security staff come and ask him to leave after he had been asked to leave several times, a lot of things came into the picture much clearer as to why this was happening and who he was. Now, a couple interesting things about that, which I will get to in a moment. So, what happened is he came in shopping for his children or child, whatever he has as far as his kids, and he noticed that one, or I believe two, and maybe more, of the Lego workers, the people manning the store, had small pins on their uniforms, which they have like colorful uniforms. And of course, these pins were rainbow pins. Now, I'm going to put a side note in here just to get this going. Yes, the pins were there, for whatever reason, whether it was Lego's policy or whether it was the individual workers. I'm reasonably sure that it was solidarity for the LGBTQ community, and just basically that's what they were there for. Now, that being said, as that type of saying goes, sometimes a rainbow is just a rainbow. I mean, I don't think that every single thing in every context everywhere of a rainbow is why are you getting offended by this is what my point is. So, and here's where I think this point is even stronger in the context of this incident. Children, I mean, I like Legos. A lot of people do. I don't actually buy them because I don't have time and I can't really afford them. They're incredibly expensive. But sure, if I had some disposable income, I might make a room that would be castles and whatnot would probably be my choice. But at any rate, primarily, you're bringing children here. So the children want the Legos. Now, I don't think that, number one, the children are going to either recognize or care what pins that a worker at Lego has on. And again, to strengthen my point more, a child's perception of a rainbow pin, I mean, it just doesn't mean anything other than some colors. And even if it does mean that, hey, we're just letting you know that this is a safe environment for everyone, who cares? Like, why would this bother anyone? Okay, so that's where I begin with this. That's where my commentary starts, of just, what are you doing? I mean, just think through what you're doing. So anyway, he proceeds to berate one of the workers, and you know, now that I know who this man is, I know he was using a certain level of physical intimidation as well, because because of his profession, he's very, very used to speaking in public. He's very used to having a command of an audience, and he's not a small guy. So, you know, these workers, the two workers that were really in the video, were doing the smart thing, number one. I'm not suggesting that they should engage with him physically, but I believe, in my opinion, they were intimidated by this man to some degree. Now, they held their ground, which is great, and, you know, just kind of asked him to stop, repetitively asked him to leave, and, you know, he was claiming that the LGBTQ, I'm sorry, I'm speaking too fast. He just basically claiming that this is the LGBTQ issue is being shoved down his throat, and he's tired of it, and so on and so forth. And to that, I simply say, get out of 1950, and if that is not part of your community, if that is not, if you don't have, and if you don't know who this man is, and here's the worst part of doing on the road, I don't have access, I'm not going to get in an accident, but I had to look up his name, and I had to look up the correct pronunciation. And unfortunately, this was last night, and so I don't have it right here. So I'm going to put that right here. You can look him up in the meantime, but again, there's an interesting note to that. So, at any rate, he continues, and of course he went full out until one of the staff members asked to get security to another staff member, and of course security comes, and finally, you know, the threat of trespass violation and getting the police involved, and I guess he left. But so, okay, now this is, here are the two parts to the rest of it. Number one, he is a preacher and a, you know, a man of God, so we say. So I did my research as much as I could on him, and of course this made things much clearer. So, of course, anyone who is gay is no good, and he's also written a book, which I will, you know, I don't think I will advertise it. You can look that up, and it's a book that is critical of critical race theory and calling it basically a sham, which that isn't the topic that I'm dealing with today, so I'm not even going to touch that. That's just a source of reference for who we're talking about. Now, what's very interesting is before I started diving a little bit deeper into who he was, because when I first was told about the video, my wife told me actually, I thought this was just some random person, you know, one of the many videos someone took. But when I learned he was someone of note, then I wanted to know as much as I could about him. And as I said, before I dove deeper into trying to find out, I will usually go to Wikipedia to just try to get some context of, okay, who is this person? Why are they of note? Are they an actor? Are they this or that or whatever? So I was quite surprised when there was no Wikipedia page. And I thought I had made an input error. I was getting tired. I did it again. I scrolled down, and the only pages that would come up were pages of this gentleman's, I use that term very loosely, of this man's, even that, I wouldn't know, well, anyway.
Not much of one.
Yeah, in his mind, he's a real man, but...
A real jackass more like.
No, anyway, so there are only his own propaganda pages, and of course these pages that come up are very, very glowing reviews of what a wonderful man he is and what a wonderful person and everything. So then of course other things do come up. Now I'm sure that eventually, if I will do this at some point, I will dig even deeper and go maybe a few pages in, maybe 30 or 40, and maybe there will be some bio on him that's unbiased, but I couldn't find any. So, you know, I've never really encountered that with a person who is actually, you know, has written a book, who is a preacher. I found that to be interesting, and I don't know how he managed that, other than as suggested to me that he has someone who is in his employ that makes sure that these things are not there, or what I'd like to think is that they don't even want to have a page on him, but that doesn't make any sense. Excuse me. That doesn't make any sense. So, by the way, drinking body armor as I usually am. So, if anyone who works for Body Armor sees this and would like to be my first sponsor, that would be great. I won't hold my breath. Anyway, he's just not any, you know, there are news clips, obviously. There was reports of this incident, but it's very odd that he has either hired someone to make sure that there's only positive reviews and you know, when you really don't dig deep about who he is, and either that or I just don't believe that he's not famous enough, because, you know, I'm not trying to give him any credit, but I mean, the guy is known. He's been a guest on both Tucker Carlson.
Nauseating.
Yes, turning my stomach as well as Charlie Kirk.
Mouth vomit.
Also nauseating. So, with those two appearances, with being a preacher, and, you know, I'll expand on that when I do the segment of this video that isn't on the road, and having a book published that I think was fairly well sold. I mean, I don't think that, I don't know if it was on the bestseller list. I will check that out. But at any rate, the whole incident really did not need to happen at all. And I'm trying to say this. Am I someone who finds it utterly ghastly that he did this? Yes. But I'm even trying to reach out to you out there, and if you think, hey, well, that's fine, it's his freedom of speech, and, you know, what's wrong with that? Well, here's the thing. it's about what your intention is and what you're trying to accomplish and what is the outcome. I mean, as I said, it's inappropriate place to do that. There are children in the store, and of course his line of reasoning went towards the, you know, the standby of Christian evangelical type, you know, basically people who believe in their hateful rhetoric that anyone in the LGBTQ community is, you know, evil or going to hell or grooming or whatever. And, you know, it's inappropriate. This is not the place for you to be saying that, number one. Number two, what exactly are you going to accomplish here? You probably are scaring some of the kids in the store. You're spouting hateful ideas that, I'm sorry, this is one of the biggest problems. I'm sorry, I don't like when I use that. I'm not sorry, obviously. I hate the fact that Christianity in particular is so, in so many ways, so many sects of it are so unforgiving to so many people, and it's just really, really gross. But, you know, so there's that, and, you know, I guess the final aspect is also just, you know, buy your kids some Legos. If you're offended by the tiny little pin of a rainbow, then you're basically
a white pissy bitch.
Yeah, that's true. I wasn't going to say that, but hey, you know, it is what it is. And, you know, just buy your stuff and leave. Now, of course, his threat was, I'm never buying Legos again. And the funniest part to me about that is, oh, gee, I'm sure Lego is really worried about you not buying Legos anymore, and maybe even telling your parishioners or whoever attends your hate lectures not to buy Legos. I don't think they're going to go out of business. So at any rate, I'm going to wrap it up there. I will finish up with the details on my regular Rogue Logic when I have the information in front of me. Other than that, everyone have a great, great Friday and a great weekend. Be kind to one another. And of course, be kind to our animal friends. They are just the best. Peace. All right, everyone. I did finish up there with Rogue Logic on the road, but as I said, I wanted to give just a very quick synopsis of who we were talking about, because I think that's what makes a huge difference here. John Amanchukwu Sr. is a renowned priest, minister, I would say. It didn't say he was a priest. And as I said, a very odd state of affairs here is that there just seems to be no unbiased documentation of him on the internet anywhere. And honestly, I'm not going to waste any more time looking for any more information about him. And other than telling you his name, I'm going to allow you as the viewer, if you wish to look him up, you can go ahead, because all that basically comes up is propaganda about his basically completely hateful, and, you know, typically this is what is so disturbing to me is, I mean, you know, even though I'm not a Christian myself, I know enough about Christianity and the true, well, I shouldn't say the true, the essence of what Jesus was about. And, you know, boy, so many different sects and different types of Christianity just have no tolerance for people. And, you know, I'm looking over the main propaganda site that just, you know, paints him as such a wonderful guy. And, you know, he's inspired a movement. No, he's basically, you know, gone after people who are already very criticized and, you know, marginalized and whatever in our community. I don't, there's not really much more that needs to be said about it. But yes, you can look into the book. Again, I'm not going to promote that for him. And just the rogues gallery.
Don't put us with
I'm
that
sorry
lot.
to even put it in those terms. That's an insult to the enemies of the Flash. Hey, I have to put a little comic book stuff in here once in a while. But, you know, where he's appeared, as I had mentioned a little bit on the road, Charlie Kirk and Tucker Carlson, and he's hit all the really, the highlights here. Let's see, John Bachman now, the Jenna Ellis show. I mean, basically, it's just a who's who of, you know, deniers of whatever, and conspiracy theories, and hatred towards whatever group of the day they need to hate. And it's just, you know, basically very, very sad. And again, what kind of guy goes into a store like that over a pin, something about this big? I understand one thing, okay? And I had already said this, but I'm going to clarify, if you don't believe in equality for everyone, and in this case, meaning people in the LGBTQ community, you don't have to go into a toy store and cause a scene for what I feel now that I've thought about it a little bit more, which I noted. What is it? Some free publicity, John? Is that what you're going to get? So, because with that, with this type of rhetoric and things, and with this type of mentality, most of these people, you know, Charlie Kirk and Tucker Carlson, all of them, anything they can get as far as getting a soundbite or some kind of publicity is all they want. It doesn't matter if it's negative or positive. And in his mind, hey, who knows? Either he is just looking for some notoriety, or he really thinks that, hey, look, I'm going to show them. Well, yeah, you showed them. You showed them all right. I hope everybody goes out and buys their Legos now before they shut down, because, you know, John here, he's not buying any more Legos. So watch the fuck out, Lego. Be kind to one another, everybody. Be kind to animals. Peace. Hey, we've determined that you're a spirit, right?
I never said that.
Okay, well, we haven't determined that. I was gonna go with that one for now. So what are we thinking here? Is John a good prospect for, you know, going to the downstairs place rather than upstairs?
Heaven and hell, all made up.
Yeah, I think it's fairly much a bunch of nonsense myself. But hey, you know, it seems to me the ones who always are telling everybody else where they're going, specifically down, they're usually the ones that, if such a place existed, that's where they'd be at. Good night, everybody.